Hi friends, welcome to the Sale Shores Academy of Infinite Learning. If you are worried about how to solve a quadratic equation in your mathematics subject, so this video is absolutely for you. After watching this video, I hope you will be able to identify and solve any quadratic equation very easily. So let's start. By definition, a quadratic equation is any algebraic equation in which we see the maximum power of variable s2. You can see the examples of three quadratic equation here on the screen. In the first quadratic equation, x is a variable with maximum power 2. In the second, y is a variable with maximum power 2. And in the third equation, a is the variable with maximum power 2. So variable can be any alphabet, can be any symbol, but you have to keep in your mind that by solving the quadratic equation you have to find out the value of that variable, and in this way you can solve that equation. If you have found out the value of variable, it means you have solved the equation, and you will express the value of that variable in terms of solution set that you will see at the end of this question. So let's start. Just take one quadratic equation, x square minus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0, and we try to solve it. Before you solve any quadratic equation, you must know how to compare any quadratic equation, any given quadratic equation, to the standard form of quadratic equations, so that you can identify some important elements of the quadratic equation. For example, here you can see the standard form of quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c. This is the standard form of quadratic equation, and the given quadratic equation is 3x square plus 5x plus 2 is equal to 0. So you can compare some of the things, like you should know that what is the a in the given equation. A is the coefficient of x square, so you can see that a is equal to 3. Similarly, b is equal to 5. B is a coefficient of x, and c is a constant which is equal to 2. So you have identified three things in the given equation, that a is equal to 3, b is equal to 5, and c is equal to 2. In any quadratic equation you are given, by comparing that equation to the standard form of quadratic equation, you must identify these three things. Once you have identified, then we can go ahead and we can solve the equation. So let's start and solve the equation x square minus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. In this equation, x square minus 3x plus 2, you see that a is equal to 1. I mean, the coefficient of x square is equal to 1, and c is, which is a constant, is equal to 2. So by operating these two things, you have to by adding these two things, you have to make the middle term. The middle term is 3, the coefficient of x. So by adding this 1 and 2, you made the middle term 3. This method is called middle term break. So always you operate two things: number one, coefficient of x square, and the constant. By operating these two numbers, you have to bring the middle term, means coefficient of x. Here you have made the middle term by adding 1 and 2. Now keep solving. You see that x square minus, in place of 3 you have placed 1 plus 2, and if you further solve it in the second line, you can see that x square minus x means that minus x out of the bracket will be multiplied by 1 in the bracket, and you get minus x. Similarly, minus x out of the bracket will be multiplied by 2, so you get minus 2x, and plus 2 is equal to 0. Now at the left hand side of the equation, you see the expression x square minus x minus 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. So from first two elements x square minus x, you get x as a common, and once you get x as a common, what remains behind is x minus 1 within the bracket. And from the last two elements 2x plus 2, again you take minus 2 as a common, and what remains behind is x minus 1 within the bracket. You can see here that both the brackets are the same, which indicates that you are going in the right direction and your solution is right. So after taking this bracket as a common, you get finally you get x minus 1, and second bracket is x minus 2 and is equal to 0. Now you have product of these two brackets x minus 1 x minus 2, and the product of these two expression is equal to 0. It means that each of these brackets is equal to 0. The x minus 1 is equal to 0. In order to find out the value of x, you have to move this minus 1 to the right side, and if minus 1 moves to the right side, it becomes plus 1. Similarly, x minus 2 is equal to 0, and minus 2 if moves to the right side, it becomes positive 2. Now you have found out the values of the variable x, and these are two values, so you have to express those values in terms of solution set. The solution set of the given quadratic equation is 1 and 2. So you have solved this quadratic equation, and by the same approach and method you can solve all the quadratic equation. In the next video we will solve further quadratic equation to make your concept more clear and reinforce your practice. Thank you very much. Bye.